What's going on, guys? Welcome back. If you're new around here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. You might like what we got going on. But as you can see, the Catalina is back in the shop, and we're going to do some tinker on it while we're waiting on parts to show up for the Dodge and the S10. We're not doing huge projects, but I'm sure it's in the thumbnail you've probably already seen, but I've not been happy with the seats that I made for this since I made them. Only because they don't really match. And the seat covers that I ordered and used, I can just show you real quick. They are kind of falling apart. They've done all right. I've put a lot of miles on them so far, but even right here, this is one of the straps that hold this down that I had on it originally, and as you can see, it just sags all the time, gets stuck down in here, and it just looks terrible, and it does not match the door panels. So I've got new stuff on the way for these, and we're gonna switch those out. The back seat, obviously, not a lot of people sit back here. I think I've only had maybe 3 passengers total in the rear, but regardless, we're gonna change out the seat cover. I'm just not happy with it, and once again, it doesn't match. And the last thing that I want to do is the speaker deck. I think that's what you call it, package tray, speaker deck, whatever you want to call this. This needs to be covered. There's actually been a lot of people that have commented on it, not on here, but in person, saying, oh, you should cover that, it'll look a lot better. I agree. So we're going to attempt to cover that and the seats. And there's a few other little things I want to try to get done this week, but I still have some of the carpet that we used on the floor left over. So I figured we can cut this up and make something to fit in the back here. I'm not sure if I want to make a panel for it like I did for the doors. Might just try to glue it down with some of the adhesive spray that I had for the door panels. The hardest part is going to be making this corner here, because it's just straight across there, straight across here, almost straight across here. But we'll get it figured out. We'll figure out something for it. But that's the plan for this week while we're waiting on parts for everything else. So first things first, we need to get this back seat out because I want the carpet to wrap down in between the seat and the package tray speaker deck thing, and I want to be able to glue it to that. Let's figure out how to not get glue all over the the window when we spray it in there. But I'm gonna get this speaker out of here that I've been using. By the way, if you're looking for a speaker for your old hot rod, this came from Walmart. It is a ATV speaker. It just plugs into the cigarette lighter, and it actually works really good. But this isn't about speakers. Let's get this seat out of here and get this speaker deck covered up. Okay, get this speaker out of here. I just unplugged it from the front. All I did was tuck this cord up underneath the seat and plug it in. This thing is super muddy, but like I was saying, highly recommend it. It's a Boss. Either way, if you're looking for something as a decent speaker, this is one of them. Let's get this out of here. Then, this seat, I don't think I actually even bolted it back down. The bottom should just, yep, just like that. And then the back, it is hanging. I do remember hanging it. So, need to grab a hold of it through here and just pick up on it. Come on. Maybe not. What's holding you in here besides just making me struggle? There's straps everywhere on this. Can you go back? Thank you. And then you gotta push back, lift up. Maybe not. What's going on here? Oh, that's the secret. Grab it by the corner, I guess. Let me come over there and do that side real quick. Pick up on the corner. Oh yeah, it latches in the corner. I knew that. I knew that. Well, I may have knew it, but obviously I forgot it. So pick up, tip it down. Then I will fight this out of here. And then we're gonna do some cleaning back here. Might have to take a wire wheel or something to it, I'm not sure. But we need to get it clean enough to be able to glue to it. So I'm gonna wrestle this out of here real quick, and then I'll be back once we start over there. Man, it is crazy how fast dirt and stuff piles up. Like, how did a leaf get underneath the seat already? Like, this was not even 3 months ago that I put the seat back in here, and this was spotless. But regardless, there's a couple things that I want to talk about. That's water. There's water on the other side too. Obviously, this thing really needs door seals. I haven't really looked into trying to find any, but I think for now what I might do is just drill a hole in the floor. I've already done that on the passenger floor over there, just because I know that that door seal over there is terrible. I actually ripped off most of the door seal a long time ago, but when it rains really hard, it does get in the floorboard on that side. That's why I drilled a hole in it. It does drain just fine, and it's usually dry within a day. But that is new, and I didn't know about it, so until I can find some door seals for this thing, I'm probably just going to drill a hole in it and call it good for now. I don't know any local interior shops that could help me out with that or anything like that, so for now, it is what it is. I'm going to drill a hole in it, and I'm just going to do some more research, probably tonight, later on, and see if I can't find any door seals for this thing, and get the car sealed back up again. I have washed it, and every time I wash one of my older cars, I always spray pretty heavily with the wand or the pressure washer around the windows, and I haven't noticed the back window or the windshield leaking. So yes, they leak around the door windows, but you have to be really close with the wand to get them to leak. So it's got to be coming around the doors and then running down in, yada yada yada. So for now, we're going to drill a hole. Not right now though. We'll do that before I put the seat back in. But let's see what we can do with getting a piece of carpet up here on the speaker deck and getting it glued down. Okay, let's see what we can figure out here. I know, obviously, we're going to want it to be just a little bit long. Probably going to measures 58, probably going to cut it 58 and a half. And then the longest spot is going to be in the back. Measures 17 and a half there. And then we got 3 inches there. So we'll make it a little long, make it come all the way down to here, and then we'll glue it to here as well. And then maybe even, I don't know how well you guys can see, but maybe we can tuck it up underneath the seal here, just to kind of give it a continuous look, if you know what I'm talking about. It looks like it just continues underneath there. There's some of this, take that out of there, some on this side as well. Not sure what that's for or from, but it's gone. So I'm gonna cut a piece, and then I'm gonna come in here and clean this up. There's it's a lot of old glue and old material that was on there before, but try to get in here with a wire wheel, not hit the window. And then I really need to do something with the headliner in here too. There's still chunks that fall out. Here, I'll show you. Like this. And then they leave a big mess. Maybe I'll get in here with the shop vac and we'll clean the rest of this out. When we was on power tour, me and my brother, we'd just be cruising down the road, and then all of a sudden something would come up and hit us in the back of the head, and it was just this stuff flying off. But there's only a little bit left. Maybe we'll go ahead and take the rest of that down. But I would like to do something with the roof on the inside. I'm not sure what yet. I thought about cleaning up all the insulation, I guess you could call it, that's on there before, and then maybe painting it white in here, and then on top of the rail here, or the the edge of the roof. I was gonna tuck some lights down in here to kind of give it for a dome light, but that's a project for another day. We're not doing that right now, but maybe we will get in here and vacuum out the rest of this insulation. But I'm gonna cut a piece, we'll get it in here and start there. Okay, so here's what I got going on so far. This was just a piece of scrap that was in that bundle of carpet. I kind of just sat it here. This is close to where I want to glue it to here so that way it has a good edge and all that. But I just took a flathead screwdriver and I was able to run it down the seam, and I was able to tuck it all the way till roughly here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down. And like I said, this is just scrap, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna hold this down and then I'm gonna take a marker and I'm gonna mark this all the way around this seam here. And then I'll probably mark, go back at least a ½ inch and just cut that excess off because I was able to tuck a lot up underneath there. Like I said, that the back of the window is curved and I was able to tuck all of it all the way to the edge, all the way up until here. So that's a substantial amount that was able to fit up underneath there. So it should be fine. And then, like I said, we'll just glue it here all the way across the front and just tuck the corners. So, and I'll be able to use this for both sides too. If I mark it here, I can mark it on the new piece, and then we flip it over upside down, we'll be able to mark the other side as well. So this will be our template for both sides. So that's what I'm gonna work on now. All right, so this is what fits. I just trimmed it a couple of times here, as you can see, and just kept trying it, obviously twice. So now we're going to grab this big sheet. I'm not even sure what all is left in here. And we're gonna cut a piece that is 59 1/4 this way, and I think it's 20. Is it 20? Yeah, 20 this way. And after we get our rectangle, I'm gonna call it, we'll set this on one side, cut this angle over here, and then we'll flip this over and cut the other side, and our angles should line up perfectly. So that's what I'm gonna do now, and then I'll be back with you guys after that part's done. All right, we got our piece cut out. I figured I'd show you what I was talking about. This is the corner that we cut out. So my plan is we're going to lay this on here, line up the front seam like so. Get up there, just like this. And then, as you can see, this corner, come on now, this corner here does not match up. So we're going to take our Sharpie, once I get this the right way. We're going to take a Sharpie and then we're going to mark this corner out, and then we're going to cut it off, obviously. And then after we do this side, get this marked out real quick, just like that. Then we can mirror image this by just taking this and flipping it, and then that will give us our mark for the other side. Get it squared up to where it should be, all the edges lined up. Take our marker, mark it over here as well. Trim it out, and then it should slide right in there. We'll be able to tuck the edge, and it'll look like a professional did it, when we all know a professional didn't. So I'm gonna cut this, and then we'll start tucking it right on in there. Alright, so there it is, all tucked in. It actually looks pretty good. Like I said, we're just gonna glue it here, and I'm just gonna lift it up enough to spray up underneath it here. It's tucked underneath the back pretty well. Like I said, I just used a screwdriver and shoved it under the window lip there. So I'm just gonna lift this up high enough to spray the front of this and maybe a couple inches down the back. And I think that that will be plenty good enough. The seat will hold it here and the windowsill will hold it back there. And I don't see why we would have a problem with that. And then yeah, once that's done, we're gonna move on to getting these seats figured out. Okay, so before we get to gluing this down, I showed you guys this stuff on here. I'm just gonna hit it with a wire wheel and the drill, knock it down to some cleaner metal. That way our glue has a better chance of sticking. And then we're just gonna squirt it, let it tack up, stick it to it, and this project will be done. So just gonna get after it with the old drill. Oh man. Whew. That is some strong stuff. Alright, let's spray some glue on here. This is the same stuff that I used on the carpet. So far it's doing alright. It is starting to peel in a couple of spots, but it's the high traffic areas. So I'm not disappointed whatsoever. And I'm going to keep using it until somebody comments or I find something else that works better than this. It's what we got to work with. So let's give her a try on this. This stuff was, it says you spray it on, you let it tack, let it get tacky. Oh, I sprayed that right on that window. That's alright. We'll clean it off. Anyways, spray it on here, let it get tacky to the touch. You don't want it to come off on your finger, but you want it to be tacky. We'll flop that down, stick her on. Alright, what do we got? That's pretty good. We're gonna start in the middle here, and then we'll work our way outwards. Just gonna stick it, like I said, right in the middle. I want that fine edge to show through, so we're gonna work the top first, just like this. Get it nice and stuck down, and then we'll start working the edge over. Like I said, I want that edge. I don't want it to be balled up behind the seat or whatever. And then once we get to the sides over here, we'll start tucking it underneath the trim. And once again, if this is your first time here and you're watching me do this, I am not a professional. I have never done this before. I glued all this to the floor. That was my first time messing with any of it. It turned out okay, I would say. Definitely wouldn't say I'm a professional because I am far from that, but we get this tucked under here, both sides, and then we'll be done with this. Alright, that side's tucked under. Get it nice and stuck down. I'm going to have to cut it right here by these little the hooks for the seat, but other than that, just tuck it on the edge, just like so. And that looks like the factory did it. Other than right here on this hook, right here on this hook, and that one. But I'll get out, grab a razor blade, give it a little cut right there. That way it'll lay on either side of it. And she will look brand new. Easy as that. Now, let's start on these seats. Okay, so while Amazon plays with my heart and not delivering my stuff on time, we're going to move on to other things, other little projects that I wanted to get done with this car. We're still going to do the seats. Hopefully they get here tomorrow. It is Tuesday now. This video goes out Thursday, and today, Wednesday, is the last day I can film for this. And also, I've really been considering switching my upload days to Sunday. It would make it a lot easier for me. I don't know why I chose Thursday to begin with, but it's what I did. I don't know. But you guys have to let me know. Would you mind if I switched from Thursday to Sunday? Regardless, we are going to get the seats done as long as they show up tomorrow. But for now, we're going to move on to the brakes on this car. Now, if you've been following along since we started this thing, I bought a conversion kit to convert it from drum to disc off of eBay. Some random guy that was making them or whatever, I bought it off there. And if you look, this car maybe has 1800 miles on it, and it has an obnoxious amount of brake dust, and these pads are already squealing. And I can only assume that the guy who made this stuff just went with the cheapest pads he can get. I don't blame him. I would too if he's just out making $1. But I messaged the guy that I got from and figured out what the pads are. And funny enough, these are off of an 83 K10. Who would have known? And the rotors are, I think they're 77 Eldorado. Regardless, it's what makes it work. So I went out and I picked up a good set of pads. I didn't cheap out on them. I think they were like 40 bucks. Regardless, we're gonna jack this thing up and we're gonna put these on here, and hopefully the squeaking and the obnoxious amount of brake dust tones are down a little, because it's embarrassing having a brake squeak. I don't like belt squeaks, brake squeaks, any kind of squeaks or rattles. I'm not about them. So we're gonna try to eliminate that and get this brake dust out of here, because it looks terrible. It's literally, I can drive the car for 30 minutes and they look that bad every time. So we're gonna swap them out, see if these help. I'm gonna get the jack out, jack this thing up, and I'll be right back. All right, let's see what's behind door number 1. I'll tell you what's behind door number 1. Brand new everything, and no reason to squeak is what's back here. Not a single reason at all. The squeaker is every bit of, I'd say, almost a 1/4 inch away. So it's literally just the pads for no apparent reason whatsoever, other than, like I said, the guy probably ordered the cheap stuff. And like I said, I don't blame him. Because I probably would do the same if I was in his shoes. But here we are. Now we're on the other end of it. Alright. I might grab a bar or something here to stick it down in here. I'll stick it down in the caliper and pry it, so I'll stick it in the rotor and pry back on the caliper to compress the caliper. That way I don't have to get a clamp out and all that jazz. So let me go get a bar real quick. We'll compress that cylinder, put the new pads in. Alright, like I said, I usually just find something that'll fit down in here just right. And we're just going to turn the wheel instead of doing what I want it to do. Alright, you get in here just right, and you can pull back on it, and it pushes the piston back in there. That way you don't have to do it with a clamp. Man, I can't think of nothing today. Anyways, just got your top bolt. Look at the brake dust even on this thing. Like, that is obnoxious. And when I said it probably had 1800 miles, I remember how many I said. It probably has 2500 on it. But regardless, they shouldn't be squeaking. They shouldn't be giving me any problems whatsoever. I mean, they are literally, let me hang this up here, make sure you guys can see this. They're literally still brand new. Who knows? Cheapos is what it is. Alright, let me grab the new ones and we'll get them thrown in here. Alright, here's the new ones. Then all we gotta do is the old pad here. We gotta take this clip off the back of it. Just kind of holds it in the caliper. Come on, get off of there. Then after we get this off, just pop this on the new one. Put everything right back together. And hopefully that gets rid of all of our squeaking issues. Like I said, I can't do squeaks. It drives me insane. So pop this on here, just like that. Boom. Take this, pop it in. Come on. Pop this in the rotor. Sorry, not the rotor, caliper. Our other new pad for the front. It goes in just like this. And all just goes right back on. You probably didn't even need to compress that caliper in all seriousness, just because those pads are not worn out at all, but it's just a force of habit. Start that one, slide the bottom one in. Easy as that. And then we just go do the other side. Yep. And, yep. And done. Alright, I'm gonna do the other side off camera. Obviously, I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me do it again, but turn. Whoa. Alright, we'll put this wheel back on, and I'll go to the other side off camera. Then hopefully tomorrow the mailman lady shows up with my seat cover things that we're going to make into seat covers. Catch you then. Alright, so it's the next day. The mailman finally showed up with my new seat covers. Well, we're going to use them as seat covers. It's just a blanket, but I do believe that this material here is going to match the doors a whole lot better. Way better than those other seat covers did. The only reason I didn't like the door panels before was because the seats didn't match it. Everything else in the car was gray except for the door panels. So I think if we match the seats to the door panels, the carpet won't be so... The doors won't stick out like a sore thumb if they're the only thing with color in the entire car, is what I'm trying to say. So, what we got to do is finish getting this front seat cover off. I can get in here. It's just clipped on here with these little clips. We'll get this off of here, and then we'll get the hog ring pliers out, which if you watched us do the front seats before, it's just a like a staple. We got the pliers for it. Just clip it on there. I'm gonna try to not unbolt the front seat. Maybe we'll just take the front bolts out so we can rock it back just enough to get the hog ring pliers under the front. I do know I don't want to try to take it out of the car by myself because that thing weighs every bit of 100 pounds, and I'm just not trying to do that. So we're gonna do our best to do it in the car, at least the front. The back seat we can do it outside the car. That won't be no big deal, but I'm going to finish unstrapping that cover, get that out of there, and then we'll throw this on here and see what we can do about getting it strapped on there. Well, there it is, just kind of draped over the seat. It ain't really fastened down yet. I just kind of tucked it in and whatnot. But I don't think that you can argue that this does not go way better with everything else. I like it way more. I'll show you the hog ring pliers here in a second in case you're new here. And I'm just going to go around the edges and fasten it to it. As far as in the middle here, I think that it needs like a string wrapped around to keep the crease in the seat. It's hard to explain, but when you sit in it, it does move around a lot, but maybe once we get it secured down a little more, it will tighten up for us. So, but yeah, way better. Super like that. Way better than the other seat covers that was on there. So let's get to crimping this thing on here. Alright, we're at the back of the seat here. As you can see under here is the seat, obviously. And all I'm doing is I'm taking this and finding the bar. There's a bar under here that the old seat cover was hog ringed to. And then I'm going to pull this kind of tight down to that bar. I'll pinch it here. That way I know where it's at. And then I'll fold the excess up under. That way when I put it under like this, there's no excess hanging underneath of it. It's pretty simple. As far as the hog rings, it's literally just a staple. Like I said, if you watched me do this before, you know exactly how this goes. You just load it in here, set that down, find your spot you're gonna do it to, pinch it, fold this up under, line it back up with your spot, put your hog ring around it, and then just pinch. And then you just keep working around, and eventually she'll be all fastened on here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and work all the way around this. I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here and watch me do this over and over and over again. I know I don't want to watch, but here we are. So I'll come back once I get the front seat all put together. Okay, so the back seat, we're going to use the table that we got here that is available to us to do this. This is obviously the material, and then I finished up the front seat. It's good enough for now. Let's see, the back seat, the top of it, I'll show you real quick. I went ahead and left the seat cover on it just because the foam wraps around this and then tucks inside the back, and it was kind of a pain when I originally put this together to get it to stay. So I'm gonna leave this on here. I cut the bottom of it off. That way I don't have to mess with this foam at all, and everybody will be happy in the end. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this face down like so. And then we're going to find the middle of this pattern, which is here, and we're just going to start that in the middle. And then I'm going to work this around the edge. We'll keep it pulled tight, and we'll get it all folded up around it. Then we'll take this, put it in the car, and the bottom of it, obviously, will go around the bottom of it. Pretty simple, but yeah. I want to leave this on there so I don't have to mess with that foam, because like I said, it was quite the pain the last time. So, just get our hog rings. Get one. One of them's on the floor now. Put it in there. Fold your pattern up. Middle of the seats, middle of this bar, middle of the pattern. Wrap it around the bar. And then we're just going to keep going around just like that, guys. Not much to it. Same as the front. I'm not going to make you guys watch this. I'll just go through it real quick, get it done. And then we'll get it in the car. Alright guys, I got this thing outside. Figured I'd show you guys in some daylight so it looks a little better. To me, it looks killer. Even with the new carpet back here. It really changes the car. But I am super happy with how this all turned out. More than excited. I did take it for a drive, and the brakes did quit squeaking, so that's a plus. Interior is almost exactly where I want it. We still got to do something with the headliner to get that all figured out, but changing the seat covers makes it look so much better, and I am actually happy with that. But I do think that's going to do it for this video. But if you did make it this far in this video, give you a little sneak peek for the next one. The Blazer, it's gone. It's out of here. Probably. I'm going tomorrow to trade it off, so be on the lookout for that. But I hope you guys like the new seats. I love them. I do appreciate every one of you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe, comment. You know the deal. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.